Orson speaking, and bringing you this time a story called For Sale, Silence. Is it really true, I wonder, that every man has his price? That's what the cynics tell us, but a lot of us still devoutly hope that this is nonsense. But what we'll have to admit, I'm afraid, is that there isn't much in this world of ours that can't be had if there's enough money to pay for it. But what this doesn't always include, we can still devoutly hope, are the virtues. Honesty, for instance, loyalty, integrity, chastity. Silence. Silence is a virtue, or so they used to say. And certainly it's always been a highly marketable commodity. As all too many have discovered to their infinite cost, silence can fetch a higher price than they have dreamed of.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Madam?
We have a booking. Double room for the night. Mr. and Mrs. Pennington.
Yes, of course. If you'd like to sign here, please.
All right. Thanks. I have my own.
Room 21. It's on the second floor. Show Mr. and Mrs. Pennington to their room, will you?
Certainly, with pleasure. Is this all your luggage, sir?
Yes, just the one night.
Right, if you just come this way, sir.
Right.
The elevator's over here.
My dear.
I hope you'll be comfortable. And if there's anything you need, just dial 9 for room service. Available all night.
Yes. Thank you very much.
No regrets?
None. You?
Oh, a silly question.
Worthy for the answer. You know what?
What?
Celebration time. And we've earned it.
But we're here, aren't we?
Yes, I know, but you wait.
What are you up to?
Room service. This is room 21. Do you have any champagne on ice?
Darling, you know what you are.
Beneath this romantic exterior beats the heart of a true cynic.
I love you.
I hope so. Otherwise, we'd make a terrible mistake.
No mistake.
That's what I call a service. Hello. Yes. Hello. Damn. Yes.
Mr. Pennington?
Yes, Miss Ford.
Oh, you are back then, sir?
Evidently, Miss Ford. Did you get that call?
Yes, sir.
What the devil took you so long?
I was on the other line, sir.
To your mother, no doubt. Miss Ford.
I was trying to tell you, sir, it's a gentleman wanted to speak to you.
Name?
He wouldn't give his name, sir.
Well, at your convenience. Would you be good enough to put him on? Thank you.
It's your private line, sir.
Thank you, Miss Ford. Pennington here.
Mr. Pennington, I think you'll wish to see me. Shall we say 8 o'clock at my hotel? I'm sure you remember which hotel that is. Room 22. I'll be expecting you.
Not now, Miss Ford.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Miss Ford, I'd like you to cancel the rest of my appointments for the day. Something's come up. Usual apologies, that sort of thing.
Yes, sir. I understand.
And I'd like you to get me Mr. Cruikshank in research. Tell him I'd like to see him privately in 10 minutes.
Very good, sir.
Can I help you, sir? Oh, it's Mr. Pennington, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
How very nice to see you again. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, I have an appointment with the gentleman in room 22.
Room 22. That would be Mr. Briggs. Shall I call him for you, sir?
No, thank you. I'll just go straight up, thanks.
It's open. Come on in. Sit down, Mr. Pennington.
Thank you.
My name is Briggs. Hamilton Briggs.
How do you do?
Would you care for a cigar?
No, thanks. I don't smoke.
Oh, very wise.
May I assume that Briggs is not your real name?
Your assumption is correct, but immaterial. It is, however, the name by which I'm known at my bank and in all my financial transactions. And as you have no doubt already gathered, we are concerned here with a financial transaction.
How much do you want?
Oh, come now. Don't rush things. In order to set a fair price, we must first appraise the value of the merchandise. As you have already deduced, and it took no great perspicacity to do so, the merchandise I have for sale is silence. So it would seem pertinent to acquaint you with the extent of my knowledge.
I see, Mr. Briggs, you're not a man to use one word what a dozen will do.
You are 45 years old.
44.
American. You are married, have 2 children, are reasonably fond of your wife, but to put it delicately, not enamored of her. She has been of great value to you because her family are heavy stockholders in the company which employs you, Stafford Electronics. They have pushed you forward so that you are now United Kingdom Sales Director. In view of pending retirements, you are due within a few weeks to become a full member of the board with excellent prospects subsequently of becoming president. Am I correct?
Well, it's very good so far.
On the evening of Monday last, you and a female whose name does not concern us here registered as man and wife at this hotel. What does concern us is that she was not your wife. You spent the night in the next room. I have some substantiating photographs. Would you care to see them?
I would not.
Perhaps an instant replay, in sound only.
Mr. Briggs, I can recall the incident vividly without the benefit of electronic aids, thank you.
It is my assumption that if your wife and the directors of your company discover the facts which I have so briefly summarized, you would not have the slightest chance of becoming president.
So I repeat what I said at the beginning. How much do you want?
£10,000.
Oh, that's lovely. But I don't have £10,000.
Well, that's how they usually begin.
I repeat, I do not have £10,000.
Please, don't let's waste time. A man in your position
has a great many heavy expenses to meet. And if you're thinking about my wife's money, I'd forget about that. I couldn't very well go and ask her for the amount that you require without arousing the strongest of suspicions, which would indeed defeat your whole plan.
And is that all you have to say on the matter?
Mr. Briggs, I do not have, nor will I ever have, £10,000 of my own until my promotion. Consequently, I'm sure you'll agree it's hardly to your best interest as a businessman to place any obstacle in the way of that promotion.
Go on.
Well, let's be realistic about it. I propose we come to some sort of an arrangement. Once my promotion has been obtained and my financial status has benefited accordingly, I'll undertake to pay you a mutually agreed sum of money at regular intervals. Shall we say purely for the sake of argument, £200 per month for a period of 5 years?
Shall we say, purely for the sake of argument, 250?
Agreed.
Shall we also say, for a period of 7 years?
Well, let's split the difference. 6.
Mr. Pennington, you did say mutually agreed. Now, if I don't agree, the arrangement is hardly mutual.
All right, Mr. Briggs. I agree to pay you £250 per month for a period of 7 years. That should bring a total to you well in excess of £20,000. That, dear sir, is a lot of cigars.
Eminently acceptable.
I might add, Mr. Briggs, that in 7 years, my position in the company will be so consolidated that any further threats by you will be totally futile.
Then we understand each other perfectly.
Oh, yes. Perfectly. I take it I shall be hearing from you the moment the news of my promotion has been made public.
You take it correctly.
Well, I bid you good day, sir.
And good day to you. And may I say, it is a pleasure to do business with such an admirably practical man.
Ford, I'm in the office. May I take it, Miss Ford, you are not?
No, Mr. Pennington. I'm here, sir. I was on the other line.
Ah. Do give your mother my warmest regards, Miss Ford. Hope her arthritis is better.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
After which, would you be good enough to get me a number? Thank you.
Yeah?
Briggs? Miss Pennington here.
What is this? Calling me here. Listen, when I want to talk to you, I'll call you. Got it?
Well, I do appreciate that, Briggs. But during the course of our little conversation last week, I'm afraid there's a little point that we both seem to have overlooked.
What are you talking about? What little point?
Well, I would rather not discuss it on the phone, if you don't mind, Briggs. Perhaps you'd be good enough to drop into my office. Shall we say midday?
Not on your life. Now, you listen to me, Pennington. Just who do you think you are, Come to my office.
Oh, I can assure you, Briggs, that the journey will be greatly to your advantage, and a refusal greatly to your disadvantage. Besides, a change of scenery from your rather posh surroundings might put you in a better humor. Shall we say midday, then? Ah, splendid. Look forward to seeing you, Briggs. It's all right, Miss Ford.
But this gentleman
Miss
doesn't...
Ford, I said it was all right.
Very good, sir.
All right, Pennington. Now, what is this? We made a deal. And when I make a deal, that's it. No getting out, no comebacks, no more talk. So if you've got anything to say, let's hear it now.
But you're going to take your hat off.
All right, Pennington. Now, what is this?
I believe you'll find that chair marvelously comfortable, Briggs.
Just get on with it.
As you wish. That little point that I said we overlooked. Well, I'm pleased to inform you, Briggs, that I am fortunately in a position now where I frankly don't give a damn what you tell my wife. Or my employees, for that matter.
What kind of bluff is this?
No, I can assure you it's no bluff. See, Briggs, my wife has already been fully informed of that little incident at the hotel. I told her myself. And her lawyer. See, she's going ahead with the divorce plans. And I thought it'd be simpler, a bit more tidier if I provided as a correspondent the lady I'm going to marry when the divorce goes through. As for the directors of my company, well, they've already been confidentially informed of my marital situation. As a matter of fact, Briggs, even if I were offered a seat on the board now, I simply wouldn't accept it. I'm happy to tell you I'm going into business independently. As a matter of fact, these are my last few weeks here in computer land.
You're lying. Now, look, if you
May I suggest you keep your voice down? I'm sure you wouldn't want this conversation overheard by anyone. Have a seat, please. Now, it's true I could have brought all this up at our little interview. You see, that would have deprived me of a marvelous opportunity for me to try out a little invention of mine. I don't imagine you've ever seen one of these before, have you, Briggs? It's a prototype. One of a pair. It's the smallest microphone transmitter of its kind and highly effective. Nor do I imagine you've ever seen one of these. It's an amazing little device. No wires, no cumbersome batteries, but a remarkably effective sound recorder. No tapes. It's a whole new process. Shall I give you a demonstration?
It is my assumption that if your wife and the directors of your company discover the facts which I have so briefly summarized, you would not have the slightest chance of becoming president.
So I repeat what I said at the beginning. How much do you want?
£10,000.
Yeah. yes. I knew you'd be impressed, Briggs. Marvelous sound quality, too, don't you think? I developed it myself, along with the aid of a colleague. That's the reason I'm leaving Stafford Electronics. I simply see no reason why my wife's firm should benefit from my little invention, especially since I'm going to be paying her alimony anyway. I shouldn't do that if I were you, Briggs. I could have security guards here in seconds if I were to press this button, which happens to be under my left foot.
Okay. You win.
Well, now you're being sensible. Now, in regard to those payments we discussed.
I said okay, I've got the point. The deal's off.
Oh, no, it's not off. It's more, reversed.
What do you mean? Now, you look here.
Now, you look here. And start to smarten up. I've gone to a hell of a lot of trouble over you. I also happen to know your whole operation. The hotels you've worked, the hotels you're planning to work, and that charming little hotel receptionist under your wing who keeps a practiced eye out for likely victims like me.
How do you know all that?
As I told you, Briggs, this is one of a pair. And if you look very sharply, I believe you'll find the other one in the arm of the chair I was sitting in your hotel room. You see, I've been monitoring every conversation you've had since our little meeting. Oh, I shouldn't lose my temper if I were you. That's a waste of time. Come on, Briggs, be sensible. That's better. Now, look, we're both very busy men. And as I understand it, you're a very rich one. Now, that's interesting. Because spectacular though my invention is, there are still some minor details that have to be worked out before we go into production. And that takes time. Time costs money.
How much time do you need?
Oh, about £10,000 worth.
10,000.
Well, that's a mere trifling sum for a man like you. Besides, if you refuse, I'll simply turn this little recording over to the police. I trust I make myself clear. Well, I see no reason why we shouldn't start the payments, right now.
Look, you don't think that I carry that
I
kind of...
assume a man of your calling carries on him what is commonly called in the trade as a role. Ah, yes. Ah, yes, that'll do neatly for a start. And now, Briggs, I think our next step would be to go around the corner to your bank, where you can pay me the remainder. Ready, Mr. Briggs? And may I say what a pleasure it is to do business with such an admirably practical man. After you, Mr. Briggs.
How is it possible to live in a world where technology has destroyed privacy, where a private conversation behind locked doors can be as public as a television show, can even become a television show? Maybe the only solution is unlocking all the doors in the first place, making everything public. That's not much of a solution, but there's this much to be said for it. That way, after all, only the blackmailer can lose.